Okay, everyone from the XRP family, welcome back to the Coins Alert program. I really appreciate how much love you guys show every day. Thank you so much. Um, as long as you keep supporting, these changes will keep coming. First and foremost, happy Sunday to everyone, no matter where you are in the world. As you may already know, CME futures are more volatile on weekends. We do see more manipulation than normal. There are a few coins that are down, but the market as a whole is still up. What about XRP though? It's down a little right now. On the other hand, about 0.4% in the US and 0.7% in Bitcoin's $2.39 price range, being worth less than 140 billion rubles or $138.8 billion based on the 24-hour trade volume at about 1.5 billion. And of course, I want you all to keep an eye on the 24-hour trading volume right now. The number we see now is smaller than the ones we've seen before. Most of the time, it's around $4 to $6 billion. This isn't true right now, of course. There is something we shouldn't really ignore as we look at the prices together. But yeah, some of the things we've been talking about, this is my personal view. Now things start to make sense. And I'll say a few more things before we start the movie. But first, as always, I want to make it clear that nothing on this channel is meant to be taken as financial advice. As with any investment, you should always do your own study before putting money into crypto. With a supply of 160 million tokens, Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin is becoming more popular. More and more Ethereum addresses are keeping the token. Of course, you already know that steady coins are the best. As an example, the talk about stable coins in Congress, or even when it comes from groups that want to use them, so many people are talking about stable coins, including people who we would never have thought would be interested in them just a few years ago. That's really starting to happen. When it comes to big businesses, they won't just use any stable coin that still has legal problems, even if there is a reserve. But this is where having peace of mind comes in handy. All of those are true for RLUSD. Ripple will be the one-stop shop for all the organizations and businesses that need to solve their problems, and not just the stable coin that we've been talking about. This is because we can see more clearly how this new industry is becoming. It truly checks every box. Whether it's in a Ripple custody, which means it's offering custody services, if it's XRP, a ledger, a stable coin, and so on. I believe this is the first time in the history of crypto that we are living in a new time. Once more, people jump to conclusions based on the price of XRP very quickly. Why isn't the price of the native coin going up to $10? Why doesn't the price go up to $20? Why doesn't the price go up to $100? But they forget that everything has a beginning. Look at where Apple and Amazon came from. Every time you hit a wall, you get over it. As always, you have to stay true to your vision and main goal, no matter what it is. For example, if your goal is to grow and bring the blockchain business to a wider audience, you have to do what you're doing. Goal of yours, and Ripple did just that. This is where the praise is due, since this is not a brand new coin. It has made it through several bad markets. So many of the top 100 coins are no longer in circulation, but XRP is still there, doing what it was made to do and building on that. It really takes that exposure to the next level. Now that regulations are becoming clear, that's a huge, huge plus point. That being said, I'm not shocked that this is happening. I also believe that this is just the beginning. As we move forward, I really wanted to go over this. This is something I talked to you guys about a long time ago, before Johnny Crypto came out and said it. As you can see, Johnny Crypto, co-founder of Merlin, said that it was normal for prices not to fall sharply. He said that, the markets often set prices and expectations ahead of time. This means that the rise in the price of XRP from 50 cents to $2.50 in November 2018 was caused by rumors that the case would end in a good way. I could make a case for that. It seems like Trump won more than anything else. As well as, of course, people just getting past the individual lawsuit. I agree with that, but it's clear that Trump's victory was the most important thing. As you can see, there was no good reason for XRP's price to go up when Trump won. As you may know, the market thought that the case would be dropped again. Everyone needs to understand that the market went up when Trump won. That's why we saw the big one again. There are different views for everyone, but I think you know the Trump you know. If you think about what Trump said about cryptocurrencies, you know how he wants to bring about change. You know that the US will become the world's center for crypto. By taking all of these things into account, Krishna, and keeping in mind the betting that is going on, you should know that US-based coins in most companies could actually be capital tax-free. To say it again, that's still not true. It's not clear yet. That's why we should be careful with it. That made things even more exciting. We don't want to forget that. As you can see, he also said that XRP's price would have probably dropped instead of staying the same if the SEC had kept the appeal. That is something I agree with. What will happen with XRP next? You can see this in the thief and his friends being very clear about how important it is to settle lawsuits. But that doesn't mean that Ripple will have a big price increase in the next phase. More people count on adoption, real-world use cases, and institutional investments. I think we're starting to see all three of these things happen right now. Use case in the real world. It meets the requirements for acceptance once more. It's not quite where you wanted it to be, but I think we're still in the very early stages of evaluating real-world assets. That being said, the odds are pretty good, but I think we're still in the early stages, which is something we need to remember. And investments from big businesses are on the way. I think the ETF will make that different. As you can see, Johnny pointed out that for XRP to go up, we need big trades, institutions to start using it, and new money to come in. I believe this is where the ETF is, takes part in the game, and of course we need to remember the whole market thing too. We all know that the market has pretty much stayed the same. We did see the decline, but it has been staying the same for a few days now. Of course, you know that you tend to see even bigger changes in a bull market. And your work, I think we're seeing a bit of a slip up right now, but I still think you know based on what I've heard. As for the market moving again, I think it will happen later this year. But I think ETFs will be the key. We shall see what comes about, but what I've been telling you guys over the last few updates is that I think it's already priced in. On the other hand, I also think that the price is being kept low for a reason, and maybe there is manipulation going on. Maybe all of these big companies are picking up OTC. I know a lot of people are going to say this. If not, why would they pick up OTC again? Why isn't it on the market? You should know how much something costs. I mean, why would they wish to gain something, right? If they buy an over-the-counter. Anyway, let's say you do see growth that comes from the market itself and works its way up. They want to see this. They don't want to just buy millions and millions of dollars worth of XRP on the market, which would make the price go up. They'd rather do it over the counter, and that's what they plan to do. Though I think it all starts to make sense. There are some really cool things going on. Leave a comment below with what you think you might see when he says intro. Alice Mario, who I found interesting, agreed with me and pointed out that XRP is now selling at a new higher base. I don't want you to forget about that at all. People are quick to laugh at XRP because it's not going up, but they're ignoring the fact that we're now at $2.40 and we're at 50 cents a few months ago. Again, you shouldn't ignore that because that would be impossible. If you are looking at the dominance score, I did talk about this in my other posts. Even though we've been pulling down, it's still pretty high since March 11th. But we're still really high for that in the big picture. If you want to look at Bitcoin again, it's still moving around the 38.2 Fibonacci line. You guys know how important the 85K level is. The last time we tested that 88K area was just a few days ago. If we can get out of that range, I think we could start moving up to that level. When we look at XRP, it's clear that it was turned down at 38.2, which we already knew. We should have said 23.6 instead. We already know this, but I really like how it's coming together. We did in fact get down to around 235, so there is clearly a lot of support there. But things are going well so far. I really like this pattern of building up. Though some might think this is dull, I think it looks really good if you zoom in and look at it more closely. The market has been on a huge roller coaster ride for the last month and a half, but the price of XRP has not dropped below, and repeat every third level,